Yeah, I mean.
Right, the next part of Arizona
Yeah.
counties meeting.
I'll just put my week there.
The following day, a late meeting.
August 12th. We're going to go ahead and get started. We're calling the meeting to order for the July 8th, 2025 commission report. Do we have invocation? Anybody in the audience want to do that? Latina. I've been butchering it for a couple of months, so you can do it good now. All right. Thank you.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this gathering of the commission meeting. We hope that you bring all our hearts and minds into focus so we may do thy will that's on the agenda to the best of our ability to serve our community members and loved ones. And all of this, we always ask in your name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of Mexico and this symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
That's on the yellow. It's not right here, it's usually right behind me.
Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Aguilar,
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Chair Secretary,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Monette,
Here.
Commissioner Montoya,
Here.
Chairman Gonzalez.
Here. We have a quorum. We have approval of the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda with labeling item 10, presentations. WNM is not here this evening. Oh, they're here. Oh, sorry. Well, Andy, thank you. So I withdraw and I'd like to approve as presented.
Oh. It's true. We're gonna move on.
Do you guys have are you guys going all the way back down to Silver City?
Yes, we're going to Silver City.
I think we should.
This is good.
We'll bump you guys up.
So we'll do it right after minutes?
Yeah.
That's all right? Okay. Boom. Okay,
A second.
all in favor?
All right.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, the agenda's approved. We're moving up item 10 to right after minutes. Item 7, approval of minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second. A motion from Commissioner Ned, and a second from Commissioner Montoya for the approval of the minute. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Okay, item 10. WNN communication fiber optic lines. Even though Danny didn't want to listen to you.
Danny doesn't like us.
Join the crowd.
Good evening, Commissioner Chair, fellow Commissioners, County Manager. Porter Webb with Western New Mexico Communications. I'm a senior engineer.
Dwayne Baxter, Chief Operating Officer, W.
So we've got some exciting news for the community. We want to get it in front of the community before we start construction. We've got a lot of things going on. We're going to be building fiber in 2 stages through the community. It will hit from south of San Antonio at the game preserve all the way north of Santa Casia to the game preserve. We're going to be covering 2,370 locations in the money provided by RUS to be able to build this. Total locations are just shy of 2,700 passings that will be able to offer up to 1 gig services for $99 a month, for $94 a month. Right? We wanted to get this in front of you guys, let you guys know that we're going to be here, be able to serve the communities that you guys have your constituents in. We want to make sure that we partner up with the county, make sure that we're doing our due diligence, and being able to service you guys through your ICIP needs, anything like that. If you've got things going on, make sure that you know where we're at and we can work through this process together. So we just wanted to kind of give a small update as to where we're at. It's going to be 2 phases. The first phase is northern Socorro area, which will basically cut at the highway crossing here north, and then the highway crossing down to San Antonio will be the second phase. And looks like we're going to start construction about mid-August. So we'll be seeing, you guys should be seeing a lot of activity. It's going to be about a year contract on that to get services in and kind of turn them up incrementally as we go along and get the build out area done. So you'll start seeing some of that build coming in and connectivity. What we want to do is make sure, that we're able to offer a low-cost internet option to people that maybe not have it now or have a bad resource for it, whether it be Starlink. We know that we can compete competitively with them. We know that people need healthcare, they need school, they need the things like that. Also a huge impact back to the county from a GRT perspective, from a gross receipts perspective. It makes a lot of sense. It's a $25 million project, so it's a lot of influx into here. So we just wanted to be in front of you guys, let you guys know what we've got going on, and hopefully gain some support from you guys.
Sure. Go ahead.
Handouts here, I don't know if you want to give them.
Yeah, and my apologies, I didn't get this sent to you guys to go in the board book when I wrote.
Sure.
So we're currently, I'm away from the mic, so we're currently working with the Middle Rio Grande Conservation District to secure the permits to get across all the drainage and all the irrigation portion. So that may hold us up on some of the construction start dates, but if we're looking at a mid-August start date, we'll be able to get this rolling, get some stuff in here. We're hoping that if you've got industrial park areas and things like that, we can come to the table, sit down, and see if we've got the availability to bolster some of that for you guys, so we can bring some revenue back into Socorro and help you guys grow.
I'd just like to elaborate the low-cost solution. We do have a 50/50 service for $59. So anybody with fiber access can get that for $59. It goes to $64 for 100/100, $74 for 300/300, $84 for 500/500, and $94.99 for a gig. So it's really exciting that we can offer these things to people. We look forward to getting this completed and everybody signed up that wants to get signed up. So we'll probably have some sort of groundbreaking yet to be determined once we figure out exactly when we're going to start construction. We probably won't be there for the actual construction, but we'd like to let you guys know that too. I don't know, we'd like to be involved in any kind of community events, or we're going to look for community maybe volunteer fire stations, whatever, to get our name and let the community know that we're fixing to be there. So we'd like to do that. Any questions?
Good. I guess, how do the households reach out to apply for a connection, I guess?
When we go through these things, we're gonna have some people asking for permission to do a drop. An easement, of course, is part of that permission, but we will take a sign off that we give you permission. At that time, we'll have that pre-application sign up. But there will also be letters sent out to these locations, direct mail, I do believe, with all the pre-application and pre-sign up notification.
So anybody that's eligible, you know.
So we've been working with the assessor's office for the last few months to try to get the names and addresses of each location, throw them back in our mapping system. We were able to verify somewhere around 1,800 locations, so they'll be getting direct mailers. And hopefully, as the direct mailers go through, the ones that we were unable to contact, they'll be able to get with their neighbors. And
That's why we want to try to be in the community somewhere to get this information out as soon as possible.
When do you anticipate completion?
by August 2026.
About a year ago.
We'll do incremental turn-ups, so there'll be some things that will come on prior to August 2026, but we anticipate the full completion of project by August 26th.
Right,
Mr. Chair?
good news, yes.
Are there gonna be any county roads that you all are going to be crossing with the lines?
So there will be, our engineering firm is supposed to be taking care of all that as well as the Middle Rio Grande Water District, all the permits, BLM, anything that goes along. So they should be reaching out to you guys very shortly to work on permits for road crossings, moving bores, with the mitigation process. That way we're not closing down roadways. We want to be good stewards of the roadways. We don't want to be in the way. We want to make sure traffic flows correctly. If we do have traffic shutdowns, slowdowns, we'll make sure that the traffic control is handled appropriately.
Just have them reach out directly to me. We've got the templates in place so we can kind of streamline it road by road to be able to get all of those easement rights contracted with you and be able to do that, as well as keep in mind that if you are going to have any road closures, let me know that as well, because we just got all of our road department road certified. So we might be able to assist you with that rather than you having to contract through a third party.
Awesome.
We might be able to offer you some type of rebate to make that a little more cost effective.
Awesome. Every little bit helps, and that's why I want to get in front of you guys. And my apologies, I did not reach back out to you on some of this prior to this meeting. So there's a few things that we still need to work out, make sure that we're on the right page and keep things moving forward so we can get this built out. The one thing that we didn't mention is we're building this for future proof. So we're actually putting one duct in that has 7 ducts inside of it. So once we put it in, we won't have to dig it up again unless somebody digs into us. And it gives us multiple pathways for growth. So if we have things that population growth or anything like that, we don't have to come in, pop things up, dig things up again. So it gives us a lot of latitude.
Elaborate on the technology a little bit. Although we're providing a 1 gig service, these systems that we're putting in are capable of 10 gig to the house each. Now the customer prim equipment's not capable of that, but the equipment in the CO. I also like to say we do have a spot up at the industrial park area where we put our tower in our building there. Out in front of that, we're going to be placing a mobile office space so we can have customer walk in, bill pay and stuff like that too as well. So that's going to be super helpful. So they can just come in and see us right there.
As local as we are in Silver City, we cover 15,000 square miles in our ILAP territory. We cover another 10,000 square miles roughly in our CLEC territories. And this is one of those portions of the area in our CLEC that we're trying to build out and help the communities grow, give the services back to the communities. We want to be part of the communities that we're in, so we're actively looking for techs. We've hired a few people from up in this area to work, so we want people that are homegrown. We want to be able to keep the jobs here. We don't want to bring people in to work for us. We want them from the homegrown area, and it builds a lot better rapport with the people that are here.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
Any other questions?
I have a couple questions. Well, one question. So, just by looking at the map and also just following along, so that's going to be a pretty big project. Are we gonna maintain in regards to the manpower? Are we gonna increase that over the year, or how is that gonna work? Because right now, I know you guys are spread out very, vast. So what is the plan for that?
Well, the plan is to have one CSR, which is Bill K. person to start off with, and also an INR tech that's local here, who's Socorro as well. Because this is gonna be brand new equipment. We'll be sending drop crews up here for future drops outside of that. They wouldn't be local, but as big as this area is with 2,300 subscribers, I probably look to have at least 2 INR technicians in there, probably at least 2 CSR. So that's 4 people total in that building over there.
And from a construction standpoint, you're probably looking at about 3 crews from a plowing perspective. From a bore perspective, you may have another 3 crews that are going ahead doing bores, trying to stay ahead of the plow crews to keep that installed. So you could have 20 to 30 people up here at a time doing the installation of the fiber.
And that'll be contractors doing most of the work, so it won't be our local, they'll be doing work for us. So I believe that's gonna be Black Gap. That would be the contractors that are out there. They're gonna have our stickers on the side of their truck working for us. But that's gonna be contract labor that's gonna be up there doing that stuff. And we like to minimize as much damage as possible, but it's just gonna be, we're gonna cut water lines and all that, it's gonna happen, because not everybody knows where their water line was 30 years ago when they put it. And we don't wanna hear too much, we wanna minimize the complaining from the consumer, because we'll fix it, the contractor's gonna fix that. If they damage it, they're gonna fix that. Just wanna make sure any kind of damage is responsible by the contractor. And if it ain't happening, let us know, and we'll make sure.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. The next one, I just wanted to, you guys are talking about trying to get the name out there and also just get the scheme out. We do have a county fair that's coming up here not too long, so maybe that could be a possibility. So
Absolutely, we'd love to.
Work with the county manager on dates and
Labor Day.
Yes, go ahead and work directly through me. We'll get it all set up. For your calendars, you can go ahead and mark it. August 25th will be the start of the Socorro County Fair.
thank
Even
you,
in
gentlemen.
the line of the local people that we want to hire, we do have a contractor that's local to New Mexico. He's out of Las Cruces there at Rincon. So we're trying to keep all of this money that's coming in federally in the state of New Mexico, so it helps us grow.
Thank you. Looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
you.
Okay, after 10 comes 8. Committee and department reports.
As long as you talk in your mic, it's just when they come up here, I'm changing.
Oh.
So you're good.
Athena, have anything? Oh, there's some written ones.
Give me a minute, Athena.
This is good. Nice and loud. Good evening, everybody. I think you have a written report in there, but just as I was wrapping up this evening, our annual reports for our grants, I just was actually really super surprised and very happy at everything that we're reporting on. We've had a great FY25 and wanted to congratulate our county manager, Andy, for a really terrific year and with his help and guidance and teaching. We look forward to a very productive FY26. So I just wanted to acknowledge that the work of the team is really terrific, and we're handing in some really good reports on our grants, and I wanted to just thank the commission also for your continued support. So thank you again, and congratulations, Andy.
Thank you. Knowledge managers report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. So before you is the one-year letter that I sent out earlier this morning to all of the county users. Are you able to hear me now?
The red button's down all the way. There.
That's. So you can go ahead and read that at your own free time to see the type of communication that we've kept going for this past year between the manager's office and the employees. With the recent rainstorms, the road crew has been out there. The recent passage of the emergency road maintenance list has worked very well. There's still a few kinks that we're going to have to work out, but on Thursday we had the entire road crew, including the road director, on machinery, being able to go and do all 4 areas of the county that were impacted. So we were able to address most of the emergency concerns that day. We're still doing some of the cleanup work as we go around some of those big arroyos up north, especially that they're off of 314 as well over into Rio Grande Estates. Those were the main impacted areas. Bosquecito Road, we were able to move all kinds of sand out of those arroyos and get the water flowing again. But this is going to be one of those long-term plans that I'm going to be meeting with the road director with, because we're able to maintain the right-of-way on Bosquecito Road, but the real issues are going to be to the east and to the west of the road that are in our jurisdiction. But that's where all of the backup is occurring, because the water's not flowing all the way to the river anymore. So we'll have to be working on some of those issues as well. For long-term planning, one of the big ones that we're going to have to figure out and address as the population continues to grow in Rio Grande Estates is going to be that arroyo that goes through there, because it cuts off our only north-south road in Rio Grande Estates. So that's going to have to take some planning and preparation to figure out how we're going to construct something to where that doesn't blow out all the time. The good news is we're going to have access to a GIS grant. So this is our mapping component that we do. So our mapping department is going to be able to actually have their own mapping printer, as well as we're going to do some technological upgrades with that one. We have our meeting with the GIS grant individuals tomorrow morning at 10. So all I can give you is generalities at this time, because tomorrow morning is when we get all the specifics as to what that grant's going to entail. The Eastern Roads, we have just signed and are getting into a new agreement with the U.S. Army over there on County Road 131, so White Sage Road, that they're going to be doing maneuvers. So they've agreed during their maneuvers, they're going to be maintaining the southern portion of 131. So what that was actually able for us to do is, because they took care of that on Thursday, we were able to get a crew onto the north end of 131. And we were able to get, for those 3 ranchers up there, we got them access back out of the north side. So that was a really good development. But I'd just like to thank everybody for this past year. It's been really well. So we'll be continuing with those types of plans for years to come.
Thank you very much, Manager. The last meeting you stated that for the roads out in Alamo, that BAE had instructed you to cease all maintenance on any of the road on the Alamo Reservation. Am I correct?
not cease all, but we had the discussion with them as to the process and procedures that we were going to go through, that the primary road of that meeting was VIA 55, as well as the school bus routes.
Okay, so now you're, okay, so what we heard different from the first time that you talked about that. Do you have anything in writing in regards to them telling you, or is this still hearsay?
The only thing directly that I have are the notes of the meetings that I wrote down, but as far as direct email communication, no. That we do not have any signed contracts yet with any of the tribal authorities pertaining to those roads.
Okay, so back to the roads in regards to the rain last week. We need to continue to maintain these roads until you have something in writing. Up to this point, like I say, it's still hearsay. So we need to do our diligence in regards to maintaining that piece as well. A lot of people calling me in regards to the washouts and stuff like that. So we really need to take a look at that.
We've actually got an individual that's assigned to that part of the county. For those individuals that are contacting you, we have a form that can be filled out both online as well as we can get them a hard copy to maintain, that they can go ahead and fill out and get in contact with us. That we utilize that form in order to be able to determine the day and the week for those individuals going out. So the more information that they can send to us directly, we're able to get that to the road department, and then we have a track record of what's being requested and the work being performed.
And then again, like I said, we need to continue maintaining all the roads. The last meeting we had, you told us that you were told to cease all maintenance. So until we do have documentation, we're going to continue. And I'm not asking you, this is a directive. We're going to continue maintaining those roads.
And we are going to continue maintaining all roads in accordance with our policies and procedures.
Okay, so apparently, I mean, you don't understand the demographics we're talking about in regards to, you're talking about 300, probably about 300, 350 households. And unfortunately, there's only about maybe 60, 70 of those households that have internet. So, you're over here creating all these forms and whatnot. You have to have these forms readily available on hand. So, back again, a directive. And I'm directing you that we have to continue maintaining these roads, period.
Yes, please have those individuals. That's why we're able to take telephonic and write it down onto the form for those individuals who can't fill it out online. But please have them contact the road department so that we have a record of the request coming in. So that way we can assign the equipment in the fashion that it needs to go, so that we're not sending it back and forth across the county, and we can hit everything as we're going through. But we'll need to have those communications from them, because what we do is when a road is fixed, we are in communication with that individual that requested it to verify that it is fixed according to what they had requested.
Telephonics, okay, so is that in the policies that you supposedly generated?
Yes, it is.
Okay, because I don't want because I'm the one that ends up hearing all this. And why? Because number one, they don't want to call the manager's office because there's no response. Number one, there's no return call. And that needs to change. And last week, I tried calling, it's 2 days, tried calling, left you 3 messages, have not received a phone call back yet.
With all due respect, sir, I would respectfully disagree, because we do have not only the phone call that was placed, but as the email that was placed directly after it. So that's why one of the things
it's been a year.
One of the things that we
You
have
have not
requested
called,
with that
you have
policy.
not reached out to me yet on anything. So do not sit there trying to, that's gonna change. Period.
Under the Inspection of Public Records Act, that if anybody requests communication between myself and any commissioner, I would have to divulge that because it's not protected under the attorney-client privilege. So those records with those emails do exist, and anybody would be more than willing to provide them through the Inspection of Public Records Act. But in regards to the road specifically, on Thursday, we had the entire road crew out and about, including the road director on a piece of machinery. And I was actually out on site for the majority of the day. And so we were handling on my cell phone all of the incoming calls. And so we were able to address approximately 75 different calls that came in that day, as well as continuing the work yesterday and into today.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioners reports, 8C. What did we mention? Eastern roads? That was. part of
Yeah,
it.
that was PR 131.
Acknowledge commissioner.
I have nothing at this time.
I just want to say that, monsoon season started, as we all know, and I'm sure we've all received calls, as I have, and believe it, we've been working with each other and keeping in contact with the road supervisor, manager, all of us here. So we have been keeping in contact and trying to make sure everything that needs to be getting done is getting done, believe me. It's not easy. I know these guys are really busy out there on the roads, so, we're doing the best we can, and, that's what they're doing out there, and I'm sure Lewis is hard at work with his guys, so, and we are keeping in contact, us guys up here, so I just want to let everybody know that.
I just want to echo what John said. We get phone calls, we make phone calls, and we do understand that's part of living in rural New Mexico, and not to downplay what's going on with the roads here, and flooding. Just think of the people in Texas, that type of flooding, what can really happen. Try to keep that in perspective. Thank you. Okay, item D, acknowledge July birthdays.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I'll take this one if you'd like.
absolutely.
Chris Scarborough in maintenance, July 1st. Selena Lopez, manager's office, July 7th. Marina Hine, emergency management, July 7th. Donna South, assessors, July 9th. Kimberly Torres, detention, July 9th. Josefina Perez, DWI, July 9th. Brandon Crispin, maintenance, July 12th. Eric Spargo, assessors, July 18th. Eddie Garcia, detention center, July 20th. Sal de la Rocha, detention, July 20th. Eric Silva, road department, July 22nd. As Linda Anaya, foster grandparents, July 31st.
Happy birthday. I just need to add, I have 2 brothers and a daughter-in-law in July, so happy birthday to them too. Thank you. Okay, item 9, public comment. During this portion of our meeting, we welcome your suggestions and want to share your concerns. This is not a question and answer period. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. The county commission is not able to take action on matters discussed during public comment. Speakers are requested to state their name for the record. Do we have public comment?
Evening, Commissioners. My name is Donna Harris, and I live on the Cape Broadus Road. And for about 2 years now, I've been trying to get you guys, if you're not going to take care of the road, and you're not going to take care of it, you've already said this, put up a sign. Put up a sign that says the road is not regularly maintained. Put up a sign that says, don't come in here if it's raining. Chance from the BLM came after the first rain, and then he came after the second rain and saw the road was impassable, and then he went back to town. He didn't come out and fix it, he just left it. And then Joe got stuck and had to call me. This isn't necessary. He couldn't feed his cattle. He had to just get him out and go back home. He can't do this, but you need to put up a sign. Joe and I can deal with this. You need to put up a sign to keep people in cars over there. This is not an unreasonable request, and it's not gonna happen today. You need to put it on the agenda and all the rest of the stuff. But we need signs to warn people not to come in there. I'm happy to go out and fix the Cape Broadus Road outside of my house. After the first rain, I had a hole this big and this deep on my place. After I fixed it, I went out there and I fixed the main road. If you had a four-wheel drive pickup, you could get through there. If you came out there in a car, you'd still be there. And I don't mind to do that because you guys said you're not gonna come out there. But you need to put up a sign that says, don't come in here with a car. It's getting to, it's important, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you, Don.
We did 10. Any other public comment? Thank you. 11, action items, consideration of a letter to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services cooperating agency status for the Mexican Wolf Recovery Program and delegation of authority to the county manager to execute a memorandum of understanding.
Mr. Chairman, if I might, this was directed at the last meeting to be on the agenda that was brought by Commissioner Monette. Basically, what cooperating agency status is under the NEPA process and other federal processes. If you become a cooperating agency, which let's say the county does in this situation, they are required under federal regulations and federal law to reach out and ask us, have us participate in their processes in areas where we have expertise. We've set forth in the letter areas where we have expertise. For the MOU, that's specifically, we set forth that we have particularized expertise or knowledge in aspects of land use planning, as well as in regard to social and economic impact of the Mexican Wolf Project on the county citizens. So it is important to be a cooperating agency because you then have a voice. They may not listen to you, but it's certainly, they may not do what we want, but they do have to listen. And depending on whether litigation comes about or even arguments before federal regulatory bodies or Congress, you want to make sure that we have this status if we want to be heard on it. In this, if the commission's interested in adopting this letter, I would suggest a motion to adopt the letter, which would to grant the chairman the authority to sign it on behalf of the county commission. And then what it's doing is requesting the status, and then they will send an MOU. And then if there's no changes to the MOU, that the manager would be able to sign it on behalf of the board. The only other thing that I would ask in this letter is for the manager or for the commission to delegate a secondary contact. Right now, it would be the manager, but there might be a secondary point of contact. And I'll insert that if you all see fit to appoint a secondary person.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Being part of the CLLA and all the wolf stuff going on within that, and the Arizona New Mexico Coalition of Counties discussing this same thing, I would be happy to serve in that capacity as a second contact person. And I'd make the motion that Mr. Nance so put forth to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Monette and a second for Commissioner Montoya. So the approval of the letter with Fish and Wildlife making us a cooperating agency with county manager being the contact person and Danny Monette being the second contact person. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? No. One comment is they're the contact person, but the MOU is, are we giving the authority to the manager to sign on behalf, or we're gonna?
This goes to you.
The letter, you would sign the letter requesting it. Then the MOU would be signed by the manager under this particular scenario. If you would like it to come back to the commission, I can make that change as well. I just figured we would expedite the process, but if you'd like to have it come back before you to review, then that's perfectly possible, and I'll make that change. It's up to this board.
Everybody understand?
Yeah, I would agree with this in regards, and then with the stipulation that the manager reports back to us in terms of what happens. Because there's just way too many things that's just go wayside.
Mr. Chairman, I agree with just having you sign it. With the other two counties, we have the same legal representation, and I'm sure that all.
It's having Joe sign it, right?
Yes.
Joe signs the letter, but the manager signs the actual MOU.
Yeah. So motion passes. Action item B, approval of resolution number 2025-49, disposal of tire cutting equipment.
At this time, we won't be able to take formal action on this item tonight because we're still waiting on the serial numbers from the equipment. But I wanted to use this time to update you on what's going to be happening. So over at the road department, we probably have close to 1,500 old tires that are sitting there. So what this is going to do is going to give us the ability that the city is going to take those tires and be able to dispose of them over at the city dump site for us. And in exchange for them getting rid of all of those tires, we give them the tire cutting equipment that we haven't used in the past 5 to 6 years. And so this way we're both benefiting from it, but part of it is going to be they're going to continue then in the future for all of those tires that we're taking off of our equipment there at the road yard. They're going to be accepting those tires rather than us having to figure out another way to dispose of them. So this will be a cost benefit. It's going to be saving both sides money.
It's a government trade from government to government.
Yep, government to government trade.
That's the only place we get tires from? Like when the road crews out, we don't bring some stranded tires in, give them to the city?
No, that's what got us all of those tires over there is we were accepting donations at one time. But with the other grant that we just got through DHSEM, we're now going to be able for all of those illegal dump sites, there are approximately 10 that have been identified. Over this next fiscal year, we're going to be able to get in there, get those tires. And with those tires that we're collecting from those illegal sites, we're actually sending to Texas to be recycled.
There you go. Sure. The pile in Alamo, is that also on the list?
Currently, no.
I'll make sure it gets on the list then.
We will try to do that on the next grant cycle. But for this grant cycle that just came around, we were limited to the area that we could. So those in Alamo, we will continue to figure out how to get those, and we'll continue to work with the chapter house.
Mr. Chairman, who's in possession of those tires?
It's just side of the road, and they're busting up and they're dropping into the royals. And I got about maybe, I went out on my 4-wheeler, I got about maybe 30 of them down the Rio Salado. And I've requested.
Were they bailed and then broke loose?
And I've requested this, a couple of years now. I've been just asking, it was, the county came out, did chip seal, and then, like I said, they just left a big old load there. There's about maybe 14, 15 bundles. So.
Do I have a motion?
But we just need to table it this time.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, we tabled it. Like that. All right. 11C, approval of resolution number 2025-50, delegation of opioid settlement authority for the county, to the county.
Mr. Chairman, commissioners, basically, as you know, that this county spearheaded the opioid litigation regarding a lot of the counties and helped to create the opioid remediation collaborative. There is continuing litigation, and quite often we have something that will pop up that needs to be addressed, quickly to either approve a national settlement or to disapprove it. per the recommendation of our National Opioid Council. But we believe that it would be necessary to have an individual to be able to sign off on those settlements, very quickly, so that we can get the money and the process done as quickly as possible. It'll be with the recommendation of our National Council. We wouldn't go against that, or we bring it to the board. But that said, we are requesting that all 7 counties in the opioid remediation collaborative sign a similar resolution so that we can streamline the process. And they really do come up faster than than can be dealt with through the open meeting act. So I would request that you all approve this resolution.
I'll make a motion on the only thing is changing the date for today's date on both the first paragraph and also the last part.
Got it.
Thank you, sir.
Second.
Okay, a motion from Commissioner Zacatero, Vice Chair Zacatero, and a second Commissioner Monette for the approval of resolution 2025-50. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Resolution number 2025-50. With that being said, no money yet? I'm just asking because there was I don't know how to ask it. I know Las Vegas was on television where they gave X amount of dollars to the fire department from this opioid settlement.
There's quite a bit of money coming in, and again, Valencia County is currently the fiscal agent, so I would defer to Danny on the funds coming in. I mean, at least once before he got out of.
He's retired.
There was a lot of money, but I heard somebody did it to buy an ambulance, and I see that being a chargeback from PFA personally. What you're talking about, that does not qualify, in my opinion.
That's who they gave it to.
Yeah, that wouldn't qualify under the current program. I think under the current program, and again, the beauty of being in the collaborative is for Socorro County is we are really not getting that much money, but we are getting a lot more when we bundle it with, especially with Valencia County. But that said, the director, Shauna Hartley of the cooperative, is very open to, if this board has requests of for specific funds, for specific programs, we can contact Shauna Hartley and she can probably do what we can, or let us know, and we'll have to evaluate whether it's legal. The problem with these funds is they are specific. They're unfortunately very, very limited. It has to be used for opioids, and so that means we even have an issue. I mean, Dave, business partner, donates his. We just do the work for it because we can't even use it to pay more basically mini administrative services.
Well, that's because you spearheaded it.
Yeah, I saw the language that they used. They said because the opioid crisis does affect. No, it's not like first responders and all that. They respond on a regular basis. That's the language they use.
And that's very much. I mean, basically, when we were negotiating some of these settlements with the Attorney General, and a lot of that's really what we wanted was we should be able to use the money for all sorts of first responder things is what we want. But unfortunately, basically the federal judges have ruled that this can only be used. I mean, very, very specifically. So
education.
We just need to make sure that we're very careful about how we use it. But I think Shauna could probably evaluate whether that would work for us. I mean, and
so the Council of Las Vegas is probably in trouble for doing that.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay.
So I just wanted to say something. I had a conversation with Shauna last week because our organization and the multiple community organizations were really confused as to whether we received money, and she was kind of perplexed why we haven't, in her defense, why Socorro hasn't been as active as other counties in requesting funding. So there's been kind of a confusion, which she clarified very clearly, and I'm sure the county manager can also. What we understood initially was that we would be receiving funding. That's as the attorney just mentioned. If there is a program that or an activity or some need, we then they're kind of like the fiscal agent, so they hold the money we apply. If it fits into the criteria, they pay for it. We don't receive any funding, is how it's been understood. And so we're actually going to have another meeting with the community organizations, so she can then explain that to everybody. So we actually can use the money. I mean, we can then request appropriately within the line items of the criteria for the things that Socorro County may need. But in this past year, I have to tell you, we've all been saying, how come we don't see the money? And we understood that there was just a misunderstanding that we actually have to apply and then they pay for it. We don't receive any cash. And am I correct, County Manager, on that?
That is correct. And one of the things is we've actually, for this entire fiscal year that just ended, we have had different programs that have been paid for by the ORC that have benefited Socorro County. So the end of next week, there's actually a training that's going to be occurring over at the detention center that it's going to be a 3-hour training for all of the correctional officers and all staff pertaining to med distributions, different things that you can do for individuals who are coming down from their highs, those sorts of things. The other thing is
They did
that
some Narcan training, they did prescription disposable pouches.
yeah, we have all of that. The other one is Puerto Seguro here in Socorro was just awarded to be the initial, they call it a one-stop shop. So in other words, they are going to be receiving assistance to not only start dealing with some of the substance abuse, but to actually have the Al-Anon courses and a place to actually start doing a lot of that. So there are different things that are coming into Socorro County. It's just not a dollar that is flowing to us, but rather it's.
But they're being funded.
Yeah, it's all being funded through the ORC. So it's very beneficial for us because all of the different things that we actually just got last year, if we would have had to spend Socorro County allotment dollars just on those, we would have had to tap into our general fund to pay for them. So we're getting quite a good deal out of this program.
Good. So is it just for treatment or is there any
Education.
education and prevention, you know? Get
They go into the
all that,
school.
ahead of the curve, absolutely.
Do they provide those Narcan? Those little
So
Narcan, right?
none of this money is enforcement based.
Unfortunately, no, none of it. It's only for, just as the chairman stated. That's right.
That makes sense, but okay.
So we approved it, no?
Doesn't make any sense. I mean, I think, you know, for sure, and that's what we argued is that, guess what? We've used thousands, I mean, we put together all the, you know, the materials. We put thousands of hours of,
Unreimbursable.
thousands of hours of, for instance, law enforcement hours, just dealing with people because of their opioid crisis. Why shouldn't we be able to use that money, you know, to purchase, you know, another vehicle? That's just not the way the federal courts came down.
So it was the courts that decided you can't.
It was the court settlement with the national, you know, the national, so yes, a court approved settlement as far as with that, with the manufacturers and the distributors as well, and then the counties that, the national counties that fought back, but yeah, that's how it went down.
But no,
With manager's recommendation.
Okay, so we haven't voted on that, right?
No.
So
I'm okay with it. That it's just one of these things, when those things come through, it all goes through the attorneys first. So when it gets to me, it's all been approved and this just expedites the flow to keep everything moving the way it goes. So I would recommend this.
So moved.
Second.
got a motion from Commissioner Aguilar and a second from Vice Chair Zacatero for the approval of resolution 2025-50. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution passes. 11D, approval of resolution 2025-51, a policy to provide funding to student groups in exchange for community service.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. This was the item that was brought up at the last meeting that we had the discussion on. I was able to go back and look through areas in the budget where we may have recurring money that could be utilized for this. And that's why in the policy that's there in front of you, we're utilizing the solid waste dollars. And that's going to be recurring money. Unfortunately, it's limited to the $5,000 per year. So it's going to be a limited amount, but we're able to have in there then exactly what the organization that's requesting it has to do. And basically what it is it's a reimbursement for their volunteer cleanup services, that they're clean. Basically, they are doing roadside cleanup wherever we direct them to. And so that's why we're paying it a certain dollar amount per head of the students that are actually out there assisting, up to a maximum of $1,000 per organization per year. That way we would be able to have money for at least 5 different organizations per year, or depending upon if they didn't get all the way up to their $1,000 allotment, more entities could, student organization groups could come in.
I just, how many heads for $1,000? Basically, just my curiosity.
I believe we were due, I can't remember off the top of my head. I believe it was $50 an hour, $25 an hour.
Currently, it's written at, it's currently written at $25 an hour, so.
Yeah, I get it.
So, yeah, and of course, everything in this policy is changeable, and if you want to put in other funds, you can, but so you can change, you can certainly change the amounts. But that said, with the money identified by the manager, it's limited to $5,000. You can certainly make any changes to the policy otherwise, but you have to change funding if you change the size guys.
So, so there were 10 individuals. So we're looking at 10 individuals. So $25 an hour. So we're looking at about 4 hours roughly. Is that going to be like we had discussed, Escondido Lake?
It would not be limited to Escondido Lake. In other words, with this, it would be anywhere in Socorro County. So in other words, if it was a group from Alamo, we could do cleanup there in Alamo. If it's a group from northern Socorro County, we could do the Paquita area. We could do wherever we want. This policy is not limited to just one specific location.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Are you gonna have a supervisor from the county supervising them, or their word that they're doing?
No, this would all be done under the direction of the road department. So it'd be one of those things that we would be able to see the work being performed.
It does specifically require that they provide their own chaperone, and that they sign liability waivers because of the county, but yes, there does have to be quality control.
I'm agree with that. I'm okay with that. I think that's fair.
Okay.
Thank you, Manager, for that.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion from Commissioner Monet and a second from Vice Chair Secretero for approval of resolution number 2025-51. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? No. Resolution 2025-51 is approved.
Now, Mr. Chair, since we've approved it, I'm going to be working with legal here over the next week because it is going to require the construction of a new form. So it'll probably be end of this week, beginning of next week by the time we can draft up the new form that everybody would be filling out to start this process.
Okay. 11E, consideration of memorandum of understanding with APIC Solutions Incorporated to use state price agreement N 0000-20-0093 AC pursuant to New Mexico Statute 13-1-129, 1991 for detention center, recreation, and yard construction.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Both items E and F pertain to the same project, but for different construction materials. So this is the project that you all had approved a year or so ago. It's been a while, but the pieces are now in place with the funding that we can go ahead and get started on that yard so that the detainees can get some sunlight every once in a while. So with both items E and F, I would recommend their.
Is it Fence and equipment or just a fence?
This is for the fence and labor.
Fence and labor. That's right.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion to approve item E and item F.
Second. We got a motion from Commissioner Monette, a second from Commissioner Montoya for the approval of items E and F, which are the contract pricing for construction of recreation yard at the detention center. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Items 11G, acknowledge a personnel change. Okay.
Alejandra Pachito, admin assistant DWI, new hire, $18 an hour. Jimmy Silva, case manager DWI, new hire, $25 an hour. Jonathan Baca, code enforcement, animal control, sheriff's department, new hire, $19.50 an hour. Miguel Lozano, deputy 3, sheriff's department, new hire, $25.86 an hour. Catherine Villarreal, deputy clerk 2, clerk's officer, resigned $16.42.
You have a second?
I'll second.
Have a approval of personnel change from Commissioner Aguilar, a second from Vice Chair Secretary. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Personnel changes are approved. Item 12, financial action items A and B. One is payroll checks, the second is vendor checks. Anybody wanna do that one?
Can we get it, Danny?
Please, sir.
Okay. I will go ahead and let's see. Can you give it? Got these two. I will go ahead and make a motion to approve 12A and B, combination of 12A and B. First of all, the A approval payroll checks, memo dated for July 8th, payroll for June 12, 2025 in the amount of $212,653.87. And then also, in addition to that, June 26, 2025 in the amount of $314,970.41, totaling $527,624.28. And then B is the vendor checks. Vendor checks dated for July 7th. In the total amount of $812,297.59. Thank you, sir.
Second.
So, motion from Vice Chair Secretary and second from Commissioner Monette for the approval of payroll and vendor checks. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Pay the bills. Item 13, motion and roll call vote to go into executive session, and that pursuant to Mexico State Statute Section 10-15, only the following matter will be discussed in closed session. A, real property, Elmo Roads. B, personnel, City of EMS services. A, county manager evaluation. Roll call vote.
Commissioner Aguilar,
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Chair Secretary,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Monette,
Yes.
Commissioner Montoya,
Yes.
Chairman Gonzalez.
Yes. We're in executive session.
Thank you, ladies.
Need a motion and vote, return to regular session.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that the only matters discussed in executive session would limit those, go back in regular session. Y'all make that motion first.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Commissioner Aguilar,
Here.
Vice Chair Secretary,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Monette,
Yes.
Commissioner Montoya,
Yes.
Chairman Gonzalez.
Yes. Item 14, action items.
Like we did that. Part of the motion.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that the only matters discussed in closed session, those limited to those specified in the motion for closure, and that no final action is taken as per New Mexico statute section 10-15-1. We just didn't add that part to the motions.
Second.
Need a second? Second.
So a motion from Commissioner Monette and a second from Commissioner Montoya. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Next commission meeting is actually gonna be July 22nd, is that right? And
No, wait. I thought we were doing the motion.
We have to go through item 14 first.
A, B, and B. A, B, and B.
I thought you said we didn't take any action on any.
No, this is for
For the action.
for the action right now, so we have
Oh.
3 action items.
Okay, 14A, approval of county manager employment contract.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we table till the next meeting.
A motion from Commissioner Monette, the second Commissioner, Vice Chair Secretary. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? 14A is tabled. 14B, directive to staff about city control EMS services.
And Mr. Chairman, I think a motion would be in order to bring back the city's proposal for this board's official consideration.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion from Commissioner Monette and a second from Commissioner Montoya on 14B on the city of Socorro EMS contract. All in favor? Opposed? 14B, direct out to do, bring it back. Okay, 14C, direction to staff regarding county roads in Alamo.
Mr. Chairman, I don't know that there's specific action towards that, but I think we would probably need direction to work with Commissioner Secretary to work on utilizing their grader to with our personnel to improve the roads out there.
And then also, in addition to that, making sure that we continue to maintain the roads out in regards to, at this point.
At the county roads.
Yes, county road.
Second. Oh, that's direction, never mind.
So that's what we'll do. Okay, now 15. Next commissioning, July 22nd, at 10 a.m., correct?
So
We need to,
We were gonna
we're
check.
discussing that just prior to the meeting.
Yeah.
2 commissioners cannot be here at the first meeting in August.
On the 12th.
So we're wondering if everybody could meet at 10 o'clock on the 22nd. And the reason being that I've got to go to Arizona, New Mexico Coalition of Counties meeting in Arizona that evening. So I'd like to go early if we could, because it's a 5-hour drive.
22nd,
Yes, sir.
10 o'clock?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Chair Gonzalez, is this considered regular meeting then? Or is it
It'll be a
considered
special, it'll be a special.
Special meeting.
special meeting?
And then
Are
August,
we saying that it's replacing
August or no?
the September, August 12th meeting?
are you guys saying you want to, or do you want to still have an August 12th meeting as well?
I think the reason we're having the special meeting is because we can't make the August 12th meeting.
Or just cancel, no
Yeah.
August 12th?
So keep that as the special meeting,
Uh,
since there's not
the-
one in
the-
August?
Yes, it will be a special meeting on the 22nd, no meeting in August, but there will be a special. The only reason it's called a special meeting is because it's not on the regular date.
The August 12th meeting will be on the 22nd. Adjourned.
No meeting in August.
I just voted it.
So adjourned at 7:37.
Bueno, no te vi.